are here at Comic-Con with the cast. Are you all cast members, or some of you?
Yes.
You're the writer? Yes?
We, myself, Skyler, and Woodrow, with Anthony, all wrote the film and produced the film.
Yeah, so I've just watched the trailer. It looks scary, which is good. You want that for a horror film. It looks a little bit like the merging of, you used to have these really old creature features like the Blob, versus now we have more of like the Ari Aster, all horror is basically just like trauma manifested. So what do you think this film can offer to horror fans that kind of like lean one way or the other?
That's really good examples, actually. This is kind of a combination of those things. It's psychological, but it's also a creature feature like the Blob. That was a very astute observation.
Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, it's we kept with it's a traditional, it's not your traditional horror movie. It's got elements of trauma, like you said, like manifesting problems that we catch up to a family after 25 years of something that they went through, and you're seeing the result of how that affected them. And we feel like this movie a lot of people can relate to, because everybody's dealt with addiction, loss, trauma. So it's kind of got all of that in the movie, with the horror elements of we're going to hope to scare you and make you cry. Right?
So have you seen the final cut as a writer, or none of you have seen it?
Oh yeah, we've been heavily involved.
Okay.
Yeah,
Too many times.
So the three of us, I don't know, Niesha hasn't seen it, Angie hasn't seen the final cut. What's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the trailer that you saw, everybody's going to see tonight, or whenever this airs, at Comic-Con, and we'll release it, for the world tomorrow for everybody to see.
So there are some pretty infamous stories throughout like the history of the horror genre about like how difficult it is to make horror movies. So do you have any examples of those with creating this, of just, I don't know, whether it's like...
Woodrow's got one.
I got one for you. So we wrote a summertime movie, and we shot in San Francisco, local area, and also near the Redwoods, just Northern California, like right in and about. And our first two legs of the movie were in San Francisco, and our last leg of the movie, how are the levels? Yeah?
Yeah.
Our last leg of the movie was in the Redwoods. And so the night before we left to go to the Redwoods, there was a winter storm warning, and everybody was up in arms, like, wait, are we about to have a blizzard? Like, what's happening? We got to drive up there through this blizzard. So we all left early, and we rewrote the movie on the fly to be a winter movie now. And it works better. It's just so much better. It was incredible. So that was a big, we didn't expect that. We got snowed in for 3 days. The producers had to go and buy food ahead of time, and the producers turned into chefs, and they cooked for everybody while we were snowed in for 3 days. While we're shooting during the snow, and we couldn't get out of the property, couldn't get catering into the property. So just a lot of challenges, but it's so beautiful now. The footage is incredible. So
We had all the elements. Snow, sleet, rain, you think of it, we did.
Falling tree branches and snow.
We had it all.
Did we have falling tree branches?
Yeah.
I must not have been there that
There
day.
was like one time in Jingletown.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
a couple tree branches.
You almost got hit with a tree branch?
No, but there was one like 10 feet away or something.
Okay, we would have been in trouble, so I'm glad you didn't get hit.
Yeah, as long as it's not Texas Chainsaw Massacre of being basically abusive to your actors, then, everything else is a cool story, as long as it doesn't go to that level.
The snow was kind of abusive to the actors, but you can't sue snow. That's the great thing about it.
So just to make sure that we're also hearing from the ladies, do each of you want to introduce your characters?
Sure, do you want to go first?
Sure, yeah. I'm Niesha. I play Zoe, and she's kind of the little girl who's caught up in the middle of all this. James, who plays my uncle, and my dad. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I caught myself there. But yeah, she's kind of going through all this, and and,
It's hard to not spoil things.
Yeah, exactly.
She's trying. Yeah.
Sorry. But one thing about this movie is that it's a thriller that's exciting to see, but when you walk away, it'll stay with you. You won't forget about it.
Thank you, sir. My name is Angie Teodora Dick, middle name spelled Teodora. But I play Liz, and I play a friend of the family's and best friend to the character Jack, who's a little more on the outside of the family and kind of the stuff that they have gone through. She's kind of grown up with them a little bit and seen how everything has transpired throughout their lives. So she's more of, I would say, the grounded character, the one who is the voice of reason, who is always checking in with Jack, trying to help him kind of get through some of the issues that they're going with. And she's also a school teacher who ends up helping out with the character Zoe as well. So that's me in a nutshell.
Are we rapping or are we rapping or no?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. So for each of you, what do you appreciate most about the horror genre?
Who wants to go first?
Skyler.
Sure. I think horror makes people, it makes you tap into something that makes you feel alive in sort of a visceral level, almost like being on a roller coaster or something. We like to be scared. We don't know why. I don't know. For some reason, it wakes us up, I guess. It makes us feel like we could die. And, I mean, a roller coaster that had no levels on it would be boring. So for some reason, we all like that bit of a thrill of, and if you can lose yourself in a story, if you can feel like, oh my God, I might get killed for some reason, I don't know. We like that.
Yeah.
Does that
To watch something where something uncomfortable is happening, and to be on your couch or in the safety of a movie theater and watch, I think people like that, of seeing chaos and craziness happen while they're safe and they see the characters on screen and the movie unfolding in craziness.
I think it helps you forget about all the little problems in your life, You might be worried about some little thing at work or something, and then all of a sudden you start identifying with a character who might be about to be murdered or something, and you're like, oh, okay.
I'm glad I don't have that problem.
Yeah, you could have worse problems.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Angie?
Yes.
Yeah.
May I again? Thank you. You're so kind. Honestly, I was raised on horror movies. My grandmother was a huge horror movie fan, so I have video of me at 3 years old watching Freddy Krueger on Christmas, playing with a fake vacuum and just staring at the TV, and you can hear like the dialogue in the background. It's definitely a killing scene.
I should have put that in the Knicks. It existed.
It exists. It definitely exists. But from a very young age, I've always been very intrigued with it. And I think it's because we all have a dark side, whether we want to admit that or not. And we can't always be that way in normal life. There's a certain etiquette as a human being to get along in the public, right? So right? And so when you see these characters kind of portray these different aspects of emotions that you're actually feeling, it's a way of kind of going through those emotions without having to do it, is, I would guess, would be my kind of perception of it. And I like getting the shit scared out of me, which is really hard to do these days. Pardon my French. I really enjoy horror movies. They're my favorite.
Okay. Yeah, kind of what they said. It's thrilling, and I think we all like to go on an adventure and just we'll watch something on the screen, but experience it in the safety of our own home or wherever. And so, it's just very thrilling, and you get to experience things, but you're not really experiencing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you want to add to that?
The fans, 100%. Who's more passionate than a horror fan? Comedy fans, tell me where they're at. There's no one more passionate than a horror
Harassing
fan.
women on social media?
What is it?
Harassing women on social media? That's the answer to that question.
Yeah, comedy. Oh, boy.
That's what they're doing right now?
Jeez, yeah. Yeah, definitely the fans. Best part.
Yeah.
What we're happy about is, with the horror audiences, with the few test screenings that we've had, the messages that we're getting of how it's staying with people, we feel like we did our job. Of like, you're going to think about this afterwards. It's going to stick with you. It's oddness. It's craziness. It's people are going to be thrilled to see it. And once they see the trailer and they get to see the movie, I think a lot of people are going to be happy.
Do you envision like a whole franchise, or is it more of a self-contained story?
It's possible.
It's possible.
We have some ideas, but
We have Mr. Franchise behind us, Mr. Sharknado. So there is
this guy made 6 of these Sharknado movies.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, we're keeping it open.
I think something from a horror fan, coming from a fan of horror movies, what makes this very different from a lot of what we see now is that a lot of the stuff that we have is all practical. There's a few visual effects in there. Obviously, we have to have some of it. But the stuff that I don't like about a lot of horror movies that I see nowadays is it's all CGI and it looks fake. So we used, I don't want to give too much away, but everything that looks practical, it's because it is. So.
We actually hired a real monster. He's from a different dimension, and he works for scale because he doesn't have many credits. So that's practical.
Very practical.
See, I don't know if that's you giving something away, like I'm gonna physically see a monster in the movie.
When you go home tonight, you're gonna see something. I've sent it with you
Lurking in
now.
the shadows.
Love that. It's probably my trauma manifested, come to give me nightmares.
Yeah, there you
movie.
go. You'll like the movie.
Yeah.
That's what makes it good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Genevieve, thank you so much.
Thank you.